revealed.
Hello, hello, hello. I see some familiar faces in our chat here. We are live. What is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we're here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. I am your host, Stevie V. This is episode 696, alongside partner in crime, Kodi Maurice Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. So lovely to see your face this evening.
I know. Back in New York, really happy. I
Yes.
had a great time. We're going to talk about summertime in a minute on what we did and post Labor Day, but let's get into. We have got so much to get into. We love to get into discussions on our sexuality, and we are in front of a live virtual audience. The first, though, we really wanted to have a discussion that was generated by a site and a Christian blog that my partner Diego really turned me on to, and it's entitled How to Make Your Bottom Orgasm. We've been talking a
Oh,
lot about the bottoms, but now let's turn gears on the top. And before we get into the list of 7 things that a top can do to make your bottom orgasm, I'm just going to go to you, the source, initially,
I was going to
Kodi.
say,
And when
finally
you are
something I'm a
out in
pro at.
the streets right now, you are really making it happen. You've had a hot girl summer. What is your
Girl,
is it, because it's our poll question, how important is it for you to make your bottom come, and discuss that, and then we'll get into what I think.
it's so important. I told this couple that I had sex with the other night, I'm a service top. I am here to make
Like a
sure.
service dog.
I mean, call it what you want, okay? I am here to make sure the bottom is satisfied, that they are getting their life, enjoying the dick, okay? And then that they come. That is, for me, it's the ultimate experience in pleasuring someone else. I feel very, I gravitate really towards making sure that the other person has a good time. I'm having a good time too, but I really would like to see, it really gets me off to see them enjoying it. Eyes rolling back in the head, all of the gyrations. I get a thumbs up from my computer too, just now because they completely agree with me. And I think that all of those things, the non-verbal and the verbal communication that somebody is enjoying it, I really, really get off on that. It really makes me come. It makes me come.
That's really good that I think, yes, you take care of your bottoms. We're going to get into the specs in just a second. One of the
Okay.
things that makes me a good top now is that for years and years and years, I was such a good bottom that all these years later, to be a top, I know what I liked. I knew what got me off. I knew what worked, what didn't work. And what's really cool about that is I can implement that when I'm having sex with my partner, Diego. And a lot of it has to do with connection and looking into his eyes and talk. And a
Mm.
lot of it, when it's the question was, how do you make your bottom climax or have an orgasm? A lot of it ends up when you get to that point, if you've really taken the time, if you've really used and didn't slam it in there, you used a lot of lubrication and you connected with eye contact. When you get down to that point of potential climax, it's a lot of dirty talk, and that at least works for me and my partner, or when I've had
Hmm.
sex with other bottoms, it ends up being that kind of talk, that because we've already connected enough and we've allowed ourselves to get into that mode, that's when it really gets really hot. And if you are hitting that prostate correctly and you found that
Girl.
good spot, then it really just comes to a little bit of sexy talk, dirty talk, finding out what's getting them going. And you don't just go from 0 to 100 in that, though.
Oh
It
yeah,
takes a
no.
period of time. And that's what I think some of the problems is. It's funny too, because a little bit later we may cover this Reddit thread that had to do with somebody that wants to go to a spa that is
Oh,
looking for, instead of a glory hole for to get your dick sucked, it's the opposite of just having all these asses lined up. That
a
can
bottom
be really,
corral.
yeah, bottom corral. That can actually be really hot too,
Better than
but
golden corral for
the
sure.
right. It's definitely a lot different though than what we're talking about, because I think what we're talking about is finding that hot connection between two people that allows you to build up, build up, build up so that it's so intense that you can make your bottom climax. What do you say to that?
I love it. I love a great connection. It's all about, like you said, eye contact. And you hit on a very important point. It's all about communication. My main thing with making sure that my bottom is pleased is making sure that I am doing the things to please them. I told you about this guy that I hooked up with a while ago, maybe like 3 weeks ago. I should call him.
Yeah.
Normally, what I have found that a lot of guys are into is being pounded. Like, you can't start off pounding somebody. That's not gonna work. This guy wanted it slow, rhythmic. He wanted a very specific way, and I listened to him, and we ended up having a fantastic time. It was, again, it was hot because he was into it. He was making all these great noise and saying all the right things in order for me to get to where I needed to go. And yeah, we both came that night. So it was fun. So make sure that you're listening to your bottom and their body and also what they're saying verbally as well.
Bryce watching us live, which is an homage to what I was saying, says the best tops are the tops that know how to bottom. And that's what I was saying. James watching us live tonight says, Kodi,
Girl,
can you
James.
demonstrate on me? I'll let you deal with that offline. But we did
Hit
take
the
this
booth.
from an Andrew Christian blog that basically had the 7 top things that how to make your bottom orgasms. Now we're going to get into what they're talking about. And here's what they said. Number one, start with edging. Don't rush to the finish line. Tease him, build him up. Stop right before he explodes. Then let the tension fade, only to bring it back up again. It's torture, sure, but it's kind that leaves his body primed for an orgasm so strong. And that's essentially what we were talking about, Kodi. And I think if you're really into, like, if you take somebody home and we're talking about a hookup that you spent a lot of time getting to that point, and then you have them in your bedroom or you're in their bedroom, that whole edging process can be really hot and can keep you coming back for more for seconds, I think. Do you agree with number one? Start with edging.
So I would put that in with a caveat because I told you I had sex with this couple. It was on Sunday,
Yes.
and I went over there and I almost came like three times, I think, about.
Okay.
And
Well, now you're just bragging.
I know, right? I almost came. I was edging myself, and I almost came about 3 times, and I had to, like, physically stop in order to not come. But after a while, it could turn against you, and then you like, I couldn't come after that. So, I would say edging is fantastic. I think it's
Yeah.
the right route to pleasure, but make sure that you are pacing yourself in the right way in order for the orgasm to happen. If that's your ultimate goal, we had a great time either way. I didn't need to come. So, yeah.
Yeah, it brings up something that you said in our meeting, that a lot of bottoms that you've come across, I agreed with you regarding the bottoms. Often a lot of bottoms don't even want to come. And I put
Yeah.
myself in that category back in the day where I was just a good bottom and enjoyed it, but it wasn't so necessary every single time to have an orgasm because it was just so hot and I enjoyed the pleasure of it. There's been other times where the buildup, like what we're talking about in number one, the edging with a friends with benefits that I've had in the past, where I couldn't wait for him to get over. We ripped each other's clothes off. We built it up so much, and I couldn't wait to actually orgasm. So there's different strokes to how it can all play out.
And also, there is a certain pleasure to almost coming. I think that
Yeah.
that is something. There's like an intense, like pre orgasmic feeling that you get, and I think that that's just as valid, and it's just as not just as pleasurable. That who am I kidding?
Yeah.
But almost as pleasurable as an actual orgasm. Yeah.
Number 2, hit the prostate and hit it right. The prostate is the magic button. Slide your fingers in first and learn the come here motion. Once you're inside him, angle your thrust towards his belly button. Watch his
Yep.
face, adjust your rhythm until you find the spot that makes him gas. Once you've got it, stay there consistently in the secret weapon. I would add to this that work with your partner. You'll know when you hit that prostate. Yes, that's good technique. Angle it upwards if you can. If you have one of those dicks that's already curved already, it's like you've got the tool, the pleasure
Yeah.
tool in place, but you can really get a lot by your partner's facial expressions too. You know, we talk a lot about body language. You can get a lot just by when you're doing the deed on if they're are they feeling this or not. Do you agree with that?
Oh, totally. I think that one of the greatest things I learned kind of early on in my topping days, my topping experience in this life, is that I learned where the prostate is generally located on men. And it's not that far in. That's why a lot of people say, it's not about how big things are, it's about the motion in the ocean, because
Yeah.
the prostate's only about 2 inches in to the anus. So you can really find that spot. You can like aim for the belly button, and it's kind of just like right behind there. So yeah, totally. Just that right there, rhythmically, like hitting that spot, it will get you a long way as far as pleasure is concerned.
This is really important that I think they say engage his mind. We sort of tapped into it. We can discuss a little bit more. Here's what they said. Orgasms don't just happen in the body, they happen in the brain. Whisper in his ear, tell him how good it feels, call him beautiful, tell him what you're going to do to him, dirty talk, praise, or slow burn intimacy, whatever his thing is, give it to him. His brain is your biggest sex toy. And what I would say to this to add to that is when you find somebody or a friends with benefit or a fuck buddy, all those good things, you can only add to that level of their mind, and a lot of it
Hmm.
becomes about their mind because you now know what turns them on and what can get them going. So the road to that orgasm can often lead to dirty talk, and you already know enough about them, and that's what makes a friends with benefits so exciting. What do you say to that?
I totally agree. I think all of my orgasms have began and ended with my brain, because if I get too far into my head thinking about whatever, then I can't come personally. So I think that the more you become attached to your awareness of the sex, I feel like the more you become get engrossed in the sex and the experience that you're having, the better off your sex will be, and the more uh effective, or the easier it will be for you to come.
5 and 6 here know his preferences and control the pace. Sort of similar, but basically what they're saying is some bottoms love to be pounded until they forget their names. Others want a slow, deep R&B jam. Uh,
Ooh, come on, Luther.
yeah, right. Control the pace is really switch it up. I put those two together. I say, yeah, mix it up. Again, really connect with your partner. It could, even if it's just a hookup, you want to create a mood and connect with that. Hopefully, you want to connect with that person that you find out what they really like. And I know we were just talking about a idea where it's an anonymous situation where you can't even see
Mhm.
their faces. That's a whole different situation. But in this one, I think you're really we're talking about getting to climax. That's important. What do you say to that?
Oh yeah, learn about you. Even in a hookup, you can kind of learn about what the other person likes and what they're really into. It doesn't have to be anything crazy or in depth. Just a quick, like, what do you like? How do you like this? What positions do you like? How do you want to do this? How do you want to do this? That
How do
seems
you
like
want to do
very
this?
straight to the point. How do you want to take this dick, baby, on your back?
Okay.
I think that's a good way to put it right there. And that
Lastly, they
also
say,
goes with the
yeah.
previous one where you engage their mind. As long as you can put it in a way that's like dirty and visceral and raw, or you can be soft and gentle like an R&B song.
Two last things that they mention is don't forget about the aftercare. don't just leave afterwards. There can be some really intimate moments after you have this great experience. And the bottom line essentially is it's not rocket science, it's patience, precision, and presence. Edge him, engage him, hit his prostate like you mean it, and make sure he feels as worshiped as he looks in your bed. All really good advice when you're really trying to make your bottom feel good and come to climax. So, yes, exactly. I love it. Keep those comments
Me
rolling
too.
in. I think we had a
I
poll
got a little hot
question.
on this one. Oh, we have
Yeah.
2. Yes.
Yeah, because this was kind of a top bottom situation, and we came up with 2. Kodi, you want to do you watching us live right now can vote. If you go to your poll, listening to us after this goes live, wherever you get your podcast, know that you can go to our Patreon community where the conversation continues all week. Go to patreon.com/tags podcast.
So the poll questions are today for the bottoms. Is it important for you to climax? And the options are yes, that's the whole point. And the other option is no, it's all about the pleasure. And for the tops, which I'm going to vote right now, is it important for your bottoms to climax? And the choices are yes, I like to make sure they're satisfied, or no, they're just a hole. And I think Steve came up with that one, but I can't really say.
I'm
No,
voting
it's
right
me.
now
I can't.
too. Tops, is it important for you to bottom to climax? Is it important for your bottoms to climax? Yes. That's so
It's
funny.
so funny because I
I
had somebody
chose
tell
2
me to
different answers on. Well, okay, let me explain myself.
go.
As a bottoms, is it important for you to climax? I put no, it's all about the pleasure, because that's true. But when I got to the second part of poll question number 1, tops, is it important for your bottom to climax? I wrote yes. I like to make sure they're satisfied. So it's a
Wait.
little bit of a
So if you topped yourself, you would be at odds with yourself.
which I'm not doing because it's not that big to go up my ass, and I've tried.
You
I've tried to self-suck. I do
That's
all.
all that
Oh,
counts, the
I've
effort.
gone into the chemistry lab many a time and figured,
Okay, maybe I should
yes, out
do
what I could do and count
okay,
to, and
Dexter.
yeah.
Get it.
Oh my goodness. Hello, James. No worries. You're joining us a little bit late. Not too late. We're just in our first
Yeah.
conversation. Hello, Duran. I see you. I love it. Okay. Moving on to our second discussion on sexuality that we really wanted to get into. And it stemmed from my own situation. And I was telling you in my meeting, it stemmed from living together with my fiance all summer long. We're going to get into what was summer like for you a little bit later, but I came back from Africa from a really amazing 3-week trip in Africa, safari and all that good stuff. And my fiance and I were now living together. I've never in my 54 years lived with anybody. And all of a
Oh, a
sudden we
partner.
were partner. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
And now
Have
we were living
can I
together.
have
We
you
have
had, like, roommates or anything like that, though?
Oh yeah, roommates,
Oh,
but
yeah.
roommates
Okay.
isn't a partner that
They
you're
don't count,
involved with.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, they
I mean
do,
it's
but they
great,
don't. It's
but
different.
right. And I can say that the experience has been so gratifying. I knew this is why I'm marrying this person, and that's been my summer. But it stemmed with the idea of in a relationship compromising. And I was talking to some friends in Mexico about, you really do have to compromise in relationships, and you have to let your partner be themselves. You have to respect your partner. Hopefully you admire your partner, you have interests, shared interests, but then maybe you have different interests. And how do you deal with time apart? All of those things were ruminating in my mind, and I was just thinking about the complexities of what makes a relationship work. I can say for myself, and then we'll discuss a little bit more, that getting into a serious relationship, now a marriage that's going to come up for me in my later years has been really important for me, because I really needed all these years to sow my oats, to really explore my sexuality. All of these
Mhm.
50 years that it took all this time to finally now I can actually settle down with somebody, and not settle down in a boring way because we're having a lot of fun, but settle down in a way where compromise is a part of the factor. Living with somebody, when you live with somebody, you know this, it's a whole different scenario, and you take them
Yeah.
into consideration. And I'm loving it, but I don't think I was always ready for it all of these previous years. Things come for a reason, a time and a place. Ayanna Vincent, one of my favorites, to quote her,
Yeah.
there's a reason, a season, and a time for healing. And there's a reason right now that I'm in this situation, a potential upcoming marriage, living together with my partner, and I love it. What do you say to compromise and really letting your partner shine, but knowing that you want similarities, but there needs to be a separate life between the two of you? Do you know what I'm going for and talking about?
Yeah, I think that there definitely has to be a distinct separation. I don't think separation is the right word that I'm looking for, but I think that you have to have your own individual interests when you're in a relationship in order for you have to have your own life and the things that you want to achieve in order to for there to be anything to even talk about when you're in a relationship. So I think the compromise really comes in as far as like merging those two interests and navigating having two different people in a relationship. It's all about give and take.
Yeah.
It's all about give and take as far for any relationship, friendships, walking down the street. Sometimes you got to move over a little bit in order
Yeah.
for someone to pass by. But I think with as far as romantic relationships are concerned, it is very in telling that you have to it's more intimate, number one, and you have to know your partner's needs. You have to listen to your partner's needs as well as acknowledge them, because it's huge to just be able to listen to it. But if you don't put anything behind it, anything into action, or in order to make sure that you are trying to fulfill those needs, then it's not going to work. So I think compromise is the ground floor that the entire relationship is built on.
Listen, and if you've been single and doing great for so many years and having fun out in these streets, and then you switch it up with somebody now in your life, it's a whole big shift. I mean, really, and a lot of people say, oh, if you wait so long, how can you even invite somebody into your home? And it's not,
I don't
but
believe that.
honestly, for me, it was when he ended up being the right person, and it wasn't that hard. George, watching us live right now, says, starting over again, just lost my partner in July, now single again. And George, our hearts go out to you. And in
Yeah.
this time, my goodness, we are really, yes, I do a prayer every morning. I do a meditation and a prayer, and I'm just going to send some, I would love to know the name of your partner to send prayers out to his soul, because
Amen.
yeah, my
That's right.
goodness. But yeah, but starting over again, absolutely. What do you say to that, Kodi?
Yeah, it's rough. I'm so sorry, George. Uh, Prayers out to you definitely, because I know well, I mean, I empathize with you for sure. So,
Norman,
yeah.
his name was Norman, passed at 84. Thank you for sharing that.
To
That,
you.
yeah, he
Yes.
will be in my morning prayers for sure. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people are even starting over again. Where do you start
Mhm.
from where that is again?
And it must be difficult because for George, I feel like him and Norman fell into a whole routine. They probably had a whole life together. If he were to find somebody now, which I'm not sure he's probably ready to, but eventually, hopefully, he'll be ready to. And then he will have to rediscover those patterns with them. And like you said, it's not easy once you number one, have your own pattern set, whether you're single or whether you were dating somebody previously, for you to find a new rhythm with somebody else. But I think that love goes a long way with making sure that because if you're in love with somebody, yeah, I feel like it's easier for you to kind of bend a little bit, because you really actually care about their feelings. So I feel like as long as you're not bending too far, then it's all healthy, and it'll work out in the wash. So prayers
Yeah.
out to you.
And back to like the common good of what you both want for a relationship and compromise. that ends up being, it can be so fruitful to your existence, their existence, and yeah, but you have to be ready.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely.
The compromise, there's learning in the compromise too, because you might discover something about yourself. Because if you have thought all these years that you don't like broccoli, and the compromise is if you get to have barbecue ribs, then we have to eat some broccoli as well. And you might discover a newfound love for broccoli. That's just an example that I used that was simplistic, but there are a myriad of things that could be out there that you could actually fall in love with through compromise. So I think that's a beautiful thing as well.
To piggyback on what you're saying, broccoli, we I love hiking. I love hiking. Diego is a huge hiker.
That's my
We
new
went
safe
on
word, broccoli.
yeah, broccoli, right. We went on a huge hike last year, last August actually, and I was all into the hiking experience and we did all these hikes. Well, the third day we were going to go on our last hike and it started pouring rain. And I was like, "Oh, I don't know that I signed up for pouring
Mm-mm.
rain in a hike."
I ain't
And
compromising on that.
on my social media, I just posted a video that Diego put together, and he's in the front and pointing back at me, and I'm like all covered up, and I'm like making my way through this thing, not really looking very happy, but I did it. I'm happy I did it. At the end of it, I said, I'm want to continue going on hikes, but not when it's raining. I'm not that advanced, and yeah, but I'm glad I did it, and it pushed me,
Yeah,
and that's what relationships
definitely.
I think can really be. So absolutely. Okay, we have a poll question for this about relationships. What is it, Kodi? Before we move
It
on.
is how important is compromise in a relationship? And the options are very compromise is essential to a healthy relationship, or the other option is not at all. It's my way or the highway.
Got
I think
it.
Steve came up with that one too.
Yeah.
My way or the No, I'm
And
just
just to give
joking.
you guys a little perspective on our first bottom, is it important for you to climax? 66% of you say no, it's all about the pleasure. Well,
Hey, girl, hey.
33%, yes, that's the whole point. We'll continue this poll over on our tags Patreon community. Tops, is it important for your bottoms to climax? A 100% so far says yes, I like to make sure they're satisfied. Versus
Bunch of service
yeah.
tops I'm in this room.
Yeah, I like that. Absolutely. Okay. Well, we definitely wanted to move on and we love it when you talk back to us. And Sinfully, who follows us on our Instagram accounts, wrote back about a couple of topics that we were recently talking about. We were talking about our first time. Kodi and I shared our first time experiences. This is what Sinfully said. He said, my first time story, my very first experience happened back when I was 15 years old, freshman in high school. I was talking to this guy who was 17, and one weekend, he invited me over to his cousin's house to chill. While we were hanging out, his cousin joined us, and after a bit of watching TV, the cousin suddenly asked, "So have you two kissed yet?" I laughed and replied, "No." He said we should kiss. And when I glanced over at the guy I liked, he had this huge grin on his face. So I leaned in and kissed him. Sounds good so far, right, Kodi?
I mean, I when I read this story, I was like, "Ooh, this is swell.
It gets
This is high right here."
sweeter. Before I knew it, the TV was off. My clothes were coming off, and both of their clothes were gone too. Then they started taking turns fucking me and having me suck them. The whole thing peaked with them both DPing me and shooting double penetration, y'all,
Yeah,
and shooting inside of me.
I did that too on Sunday.
Afterwards, we were all lounging around, and they were complimenting me, saying I was pretty good at that. I actually mentioned that was my first time. Both of them perked up, surprised, and my guy's cousin exclaimed, "What?" I laughed and said, "Yeah." The cousin smirked and said, "That's hot and makes me want to do more." Sure enough, 15, 20 minutes later, they were back at it again, taking turns on me again. Fast forward 2 months, I found out the cousin was actually 23, married with a pregnant wife, and a preacher at a local church. What? Needless to say, I cut off all ties with both of them. Even back then, I knew I didn't want that kind of drama in my life. That's nuts, Kodi,
Nuts. Sounds
because
like a
there's a
Lifetime
word for
movie.
that. It's called rape. And I can't
Statutory
believe,
rape, yes.
my goodness.
Yeah,
I
well, I
mean,
needed popcorn during that story and a cigarette after, so I don't know. That's fantastic. I wanna hear more stories from Sinfully. We could probably
yeah.
write a couple books about what his experiences have been.
When I think about when I was a freshman in high school, I was so goody goody and navigating my
Me too.
way that I'm secretly like, wow, you had this experience. But ultimately, it doesn't sound like it was good because these
Yeah.
guys were taking advantage of him.
Mhm.
I mean, really taking advantage of him if a 23-year-old was. But my goodness, I mean, yeah, kind of juicy though as well. Thank you for sharing Sinfully. And then he also wanted us to know, on a different topic. I think, no, that was the one that I wanted to. Yeah, that was the
Yes.
one. Yeah. Okay. Moving on, I wanted to just, we couldn't end summer 2025 without doing a little bit of a wrap up on what was your summer 2025, Kodi. We'll both share what were some of the highlights as Labor Day was just the other day. It's not officially over summer, but a lot of people think back to school. I'm now in wedding mode, but what are some of the
Mhm.
highlights for your summer and what are you taking away with?
Definitely spending Pride with you. I was supposed to go to Tampa, but my flight got canceled, and it was just an amazing experience having all those good times with you during Pride, celebrating my birthday with you. That was fantastic as well, and going to Atlanta and seeing my family. Again, we did another celebration there for my birthday, so that was fantastic. And then just my very first beach day was this past Labor Day. So I finally made it to the
Love
beach
it.
this summer. I need to make up for that in November. We already talked about this, but I'm definitely gonna be making up for that because I need to go to the beach more. I can't believe it. I don't know if you saw the pictures, but me and Rod went together, our mutual friend, and we had a fantastic time. We wore dresses on the beach. I had on a whole wig. Yeah, it was fun, fantastic.
Wow.
So yeah, I
What
had a really
prompted
great time.
that?
Well, we didn't have a show on Monday, so I called him up. I said, "Do you want to go to the beach on Monday?"
But the wigs
And
and the dress.
oh, wow, yeah, so there was this
You're just gonna
you're
like,
like,
not
"What
what
prompted the
prompted you to
beach?"
go to the beach. Girl.
So the wig yeah, so there was this gentleman out there, and he likes to bring shout out to you, I think his name was George, but uh Jose? It was from the beginning of the J, and he was Latino, of course, and he was so wonderful and nice, and he likes to bring fun things for people to do at the beach. So I saw him, with this dress on, and he came and spoke to me because I was waiting for Rod. He was a little late. So I was waiting for Rod, and he came over and spoke to me, and he's like, "You gotta come and try on a dress." And I was like, "When my friend gets here, we're gonna come over and see you." So we went for a little walk, our friend and I, and along the way back, he said, "It's time for you to try on this dress." So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just put on this dress. It'll be a kiki. It'll be some good pictures. And I'll post it on my Instagram too because it was a good time. I looked damn good in a dress too. And a wig. I was like giving Phyllis Diller down, honey, at the Academy Awards.
I love
It
it.
was fun.
So much fun. Okay. Yeah, this summer was really special to me. And because as I mentioned, I lived with my fiance, my partner, all
Mhm.
summer long. And it was really summer in the city. A lot of people like to go away for the summer. We stayed
Yep.
in the city all summer, June, July, August. And I had so much fun from disco nights out. We did this thing with our mutual friend and our other mutual friend where it's free concert in the city, one of my
Oh
favorite disco
yeah.
bands. We also met one of my favorite DJs. Shout out to Sarah Story of BBC Radio 1. So much fun meeting her. Birthdays were in effect. Your birthday, our other co-host, Lincoln's birthday,
That's right.
Durand watching us live. We celebrated his birthday. I
That's
love all my
right.
summer birthdays, down to the fact that we just cooked up a storm. Diego and I were just cooking up some summer.
Nice.
And now when you use Chat GPT, you get inspired. And we were really like I mean, do we need our own cooking show?
I was gonna say, chef, come on
Yeah.
now.
Oh, I love it. We're cooking up something right now. I see him over there in the kitchen.
Ooh.
Yeah. So much fun seeing my mother, my sister. Family time is always important. And really just dog sitting for little Bella was one of my favorite moments. And just being in the city. I just couldn't, the simplicity of just staying home when everybody else is going off to travel. I love just being in the city in the summertime. It's
Yeah.
just so cool.
Nothing
Knowing
beats a New York
wedding
summer.
planning. Yeah, this was one of my favorite summers of ever, really, because it was just, I don't know, all those things I mentioned, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing for me. I had a lot of sex. So
Oh,
that was
yeah.
really fun too. I
Love
mean, a
it.
lot of sex.
Okay. Diego's laughing as he's in the kitchen listening to us live, and as you
Thanks,
should.
Diego.
Yes. Okay. It's time to get into hot topics because there are a lot of them and we've got to make our time work. Starting off, when a doctor accidentally severed a patient's manhood during a risky enlargement surgery. See, this is where things go wrong. A man has been left, let me put my glasses on for this one. When a man was left mutilated, his penis after a risky enlargement surgery went horrifically wrong. The doctor who performed the operation has been ordered to pay damages, but I mean, not that much. The unidentified
What? Not
patient,
much.
it wasn't that much. It was a botched procedure. The unidentified patient, 35, had the operation in southern Seoul, Korea. During the botched procedure, the surgeon cut through all of the corpus cavernosum tissue in the shaft, which is vital for erections. So basically, this guy went in to have a procedure fixed, have an enlargement procedure done, and ended up not only not getting that enlargement, Kodi, but also not ever being able to have an erection. And he's only
Wow.
getting about 13,000 euro in damages. That's not that much. An additional
No.
3,000 euro in medical negligence, still not enough. They're not even sure he can get it. But when they did some stats about the global ranking of penis size by the World Population Review, it found that South Koreans have one of the smallest manhoods globally. Their words, measuring in at 4.32 inches when erect. Research suggests only a third of men are happy with what they got downstairs. And a recent YouGov study found that young British men are more likely than Germans or Americans to want larger penises. All of this is crazy. We talked to Dr. Chris Bustamante on this show about girth
Yes.
that is safe.
Yeah.
And when we haven't done it, but I feel like if you went to him for at least girth
I
enhancement,
think we should.
I'm okay with what I got going down there.
Yeah?
And yeah, I'm not doing that procedure. I think you two are doing okay, but you got to
You
feel
know
for this.
what? It's human nature to want more, I think. I think that, I'm pretty satisfied with what I got, but I'm like, "What if I just had, like, a little extra inch
But after
or a
this
little bit
story
of"
that I just told you
n
about, are
no,
you
never for the
inclined to want
enlargement,
to
but
look
maybe
what
what
went
Chris Bustamante
awry?
does. Yeah, but I'm talking about the girth thing that Chris Bustamante
Yeah,
does, Injector Chris does.
yeah,
I would do that. It's very safe,
yes, exactly.
but
Uh,
not the elongation thing.
What do you think about? I mean, that's awful, right? And he's only getting
Oh,
potentially
yeah.
13,000 back, which is
Yeah,
nothing.
but you know what? He probably had to sign a bunch of waivers that says that he's electing to do this surgery. So I can believe that that's all he would get because the doctors want to protect themselves as well. So I really feel bad for him that he had to go through this and that because people don't really take into account that this can go awry. So I really and my heart goes out to him. I hope that yeah he gets a
Yeah,
peace of mind because it's just This is
It's
really
just
I don't know what I would do
when you
personally.
start messing with that area, there was
Mhm.
one of our early days when we got a sponsor. It was Rev for Men, and it was
Mhm.
this injector. You would actually have to stick a needle that would make you hard, and it was the benefit of it was, when you take things like Blue Chew
Blue
or
Chew, yeah.
Viagra, the idea is that it has to go through your bloodstream, and if you have things like high blood pressure and all this stuff, the idea of this, it bypassed that. So it's not going through your bloodstream, it's just going directly to give you a harder erection, but you had
Okay.
to inject yourself, and they taught me how to do it. I did it on the side, but I always, was aware that one little prick away, if I went into that vein, I could actually
Mm.
mutilate myself for life. And I don't know, it was not my thing per se, but plenty of people do it and they're
Yeah,
fine.
it just came on my radar. So,
Yeah.
I just heard about it personally, so I really yeah, I don't know.
Doug watching us live says, I'm perfectly fine with what I have, never have a complaint yet, would never have any of those surgeries. Yeah, it's just it's sad any way you dice it in that
Yeah.
situation. Okay, well, we got to talk about what's going on in this country, because RFK Jr.'s damage to the CDC is past the point of no return, says Dr. Dimitri Daskalakis. We've talked about Dimitri several times, who is gay.
Yep.
And the CDC, you knew, is over. The infectious diseases doctor told The Advocate, unless someone takes radical actions, there is nothing there that can be salvaged. And right before we went on live, Kodi, there was 1,000 people have signed a letter under Secretary Kennedy's leadership. HHS policies are placing the health of all Americans at risk. We demand Secretary Kennedy's resignation letter from HHS employees. So that's really huge, because I don't think there's ever been that much of a stake to get somebody removed from office.
Wow.
There's been people that have dropped out of office for various reasons throughout the years, but never a letter like this. He runs the health enterprise in the largest health enterprise in the world that gets it's a $3 trillion agency. What do you think about Dr. Dimitri stepping down? And then we'll discuss a little bit more.
Well, it really saddens me because I know that he is, an advocate for our community. I know that he's really smart, he's super hot, and he's a leather man. So, I mean,
Yeah.
what's not to love? I wish he would I wish there were a way that he could stay and actually, make some good things happen from the inside, but
Yeah.
I understand him wanting to resign because RFK is a a lunatic. I don't understand it.
Oh, I mean,
That
come
man, whenever he
on.
talks, I get a little stupider, and I just cannot handle it anymore.
They are really, and people focus on what is happening. If you live in America, really pay attention to this. And even if you say you're not into politics, this affects all of our health. And that's why people like Javier Munoz, Peppermint are going to lobby Congress against cuts in HIV funding. Celebrities will join other activists in DC in the coming weeks as a part of, quote, Save HIV funding campaigns, as Congress is considering cutting $1 billion from essential programs. And we've heard about this throughout the administration, but they are really cutting some major, for people living with HIV, the preventative measures. It's on and on. And they're saying this could really set us back to the effects, even when 4 years are gone, could have detrimental effects to saving lives, all the
Yeah,
work that has been. And this is the stuff that we really have to pay attention to, Kodi, because it's happening now. I really applaud Peppermint and Eric Munoz for the work that Javier Munoz, excuse me, for leading the pact on this. I want to get involved. I want our show to get
let's do
involved
it.
on this too, because These are the things that are going to go under the radar, Kodi, that we're just going to be like, oh, we're focused, look over here, look over here. But these are the things that affect shows like this and our sexuality on
Yeah.
preventative measures, people living with HIV for the, not just now, but for the long haul. So we have to pay attention and report on this stuff.
Oh, definitely. I'm definitely down to get involved because if this passes, if this goes through, and they all that funding is snatched away, it could be detrimental to society, not just our community, not just the LGBTQ plus community. Uh, the entire country is going to suffer. So we need for this everybody to get involved because this could have detrimental, long lasting effects.
Absolutely. Let us know what you're thinking of this. Doug watching us live says RFK and his brain worm need to go. Yeah, that should have been a sign long time ago when putting him into this office. Shifting major gears to something a little bit more fun when none other than Coleman Domingo is in Sabrina Carpenter's new video. When the pop star released her latest album, Man's Best Friend, this Friday, Sabrina Carpenter put Oscar nominated and Oscar winner Coleman Domingo in a lead role, and it's all an homage to
Rocky
the
Horror Picture
Rocky Horror
Show,
Picture Show, which is really cool. She plays the
one of
Susan
my favorite
Sarandon
movies.
character, yep, and he plays the
Tim Curry.
yeah, Tim Curry, and it's a drag. It's super fun. You got to watch this video. I loved it. What did you think of it? It's called Tears. It's
Love.
gotten a little bit of flack from some haters who love
Who?
Coleman, but he shut it down immediately and said, "Don't worry about it. It's a character, like all the characters I play." Said Coleman, "Calm down, brother," as he told somebody. "Enjoy the video and the fun that it possesses. Dance it out. It ain't that deep. We are born naked, and everything else is drag." That's a
But they
quote,
didn't like him
RuPaul.
seeing in drag?
Yeah, exactly. They
That's
didn't.
so
Yeah, they
weird.
right. I know. Well, there's going to be haters.
Yeah, that's just strange. Coleman is a gay man. We all have that. Everybody on the planet has a masculine and a feminine side. So he was just exploring his more feminine side, and I thought it was fabulous. I love the video. Rocky Horror, like I said, is one of my favorite movies ever, and I think that they did a fantastic job at paying homage to it. So yeah,
It's so
I want
fun,
to watch the
right?
video again. It's really fun.
Yes, exactly. Moving on, Joanna Lumley. Okay, absolutely fabulous. She's in Wednesday season 2. Are you watching it?
So I haven't watched season 1 yet. So this is Joanna Lumley is giving me a reason to watch season 1.
Me as well. Joanna Lumley says the world would be boring if straight actors can't play queer roles. That's become the latest star to weigh in on the ongoing debate that we've had on this show about straight people playing queer characters. And she said they're not going to put me in. She basically said that why can't a straight person play? She understands the other side, which I really appreciated, and where we are now. But she, the conversation said about typecasting, and she says they're not going to put me in a Scottish Highland woman, even if I could get the accent right. You wouldn't go to me first. And also, in today's climate, they would go to somebody who is a Scot. So more and more, they're stripping away the acting from it because they're saying if you're going to play a lesbian, you've got to be lesbian. Completely understand, she said, but she pointed to the fact, what about Daniel Day-Lewis, Oscar-winning performance when he played a cerebral palsy person in My Left Foot? Now, he wouldn't have been allowed to do it. Maybe the film wouldn't have been allowed to be made. And so you suddenly think, hang on, where is the line? It takes acting away from the whole thing. Go back to storytelling around the campfire, please. We're storytellers, we're entertainer grasshoppers. If you can't do that, then the world becomes boring beyond belief. I kind of agree with her because there's been so many heterosexual actors that have played impactful characters. I'm thinking of Sean Penn as Harvey Milk. Maybe somebody else, of course, could have played it that is actually gay, but my goodness, Sean Penn killed it as Harvey Milk and really got not only the way he spoke, but he just did the deep down work that it took to play it, and I can't imagine. I'm so happy he played it. Also, Remy, who played Queen,
Oh,
um,
Rami Malek. Yes.
yeah, did a great job. He's not gay, and I think immersed himself in that part, and it was brilliant. So I'm not mad
Yeah.
at that. I'm here with Joanna Lumley. I think that open up the part to LGBTQ. We are now seeing a renaissance of really good LGBTQ actors finally come to the surface, and I think we'll see more people play those characters, but I don't think it's a requirement. Acting is acting. It's always been that. I mean, when I was an actor going out for roles, was going up for heterosexual roles. They could have said, "No, you're gay. You can't go for that role because it's heterosexual." It's kind of the same thing. So, representation matters, but I hear what Joanna's saying. What do you say?
I do too. I hear what she's saying. I think that acting is an important component in it, but I also feel like there is a depth that a person of that experience brings to the character. So I see both sides. And my main thing, because all of this other stuff like acting and the depth that I just said of somebody that is of that genre, whether it be gay or whether it be any of the other categories that she said, like Scots, being a Scots. I think all that goes to the wayside when if you actually provide all the people with equal, not equal opportunity, because I understand that stars carry more weight, but if you are excluding gay people from playing gay parts because they're gay, then I think that that's something that we should look into. I think that queer people should be looked at for more queer parts as long, and I think the best person should get the job at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree with the best person to get the job at the end of the day for
But
sure.
equal opportunity is what I'm
Yeah,
going to advocate for.
yeah. We love giving advice on this show, and today is no different. This one comes from Reddit, and it's called Guys Who Drink Piss. Okay, it's called Water Sports. What do you
Oh my
get out
gosh.
of it? This person wrote, as a top, I always piss after anal sex. After I bred the hookup I was with, I told him I needed to piss to clean my urethra. Okay, technical. He came with me to the bathroom and went inside his bathtub and told me I could piss on him instead. I've done that before. I tried to be open minded, so I started pissing on his chest, and he opened his mouth, took my cock in his mouth, and started drinking it. It was hot. I'm not going to lie, but this was my first time with a guy drinking my piss. Is it that enjoyable of an experience? I understand swallowing cum, but is that the reason why guys like swallowing piss? I'm not judging. I'm just honestly curious. Well, it's called water sports to begin with.
Yeah.
And I'm totally into it. And I've done it with my partner, I've done it with other people. And I've followed a partner to the bathroom in many a time to drink his piss. It's I don't know what it is. It's like a control power play. It's like I want to be that
Oh,
much closer. It's a little bit of dirty. It's all of those things rolled into one. If especially if they've been drinking a lot of beer per se, because it's kind of water based and
oh,
it tends to be clear and you can kind of let it flow in your mouth and flow out of it. Like in other words, drink a little bit, but kind of like you're not swallowing a lot of it. It's a
okay.
control power play, a really dirty, sexual, fun play thing that I've enjoyed. I have a really good friend that I talk to. Sometimes he enjoys it as well. It went
Mhm.
awry for him recently when he followed a partner to the bathroom and didn't go as the way we just stated. But so you kind of have to be careful when you do that because not everyone's on board. Sounds like this guy who was a little bit shocked and surprised, but I think it's really hot and sexy. What do you say?
So I just learned a lot about that because that is fantastic. I never understood like the thought process behind it. So I get it more. I have definitely played in water sports, but I've never been the recipient of it. Like I said, I'm a service top, so I'm willing to do whatever it is to
All I
get
can
the
think
other
about is
person off.
service dogs and
Bow
and I'm
wow,
sorry,
motherfucker.
I need him in my life to pound
I
me.
need him.
It's part of my mental health,
Oh my God, I'm
and
gonna get so many free flights
I'm
for
a
that
service
way.
top,
I am
so
a
he
service
he
top,
has to
sir.
come with
I
me.
have to
He has to
go
go
with
with me
him.
wherever I go. He just packs underneath my chair,
No, I get my own seat, all right?
hopefully in first
I'm not
class,
going underneath.
girl.
Yes, hello. I'm not going. If you're rich enough to be for me to be your service top that and to go everywhere with you, we are sitting in first class, all right? So
I feel like it's a
emotional
new
support
series,
top.
Service Top, that we need to
Ooh,
explore.
yes, let's
Yeah.
produce it. That's my
Mhm.
third album, baby. Anyway, like I said, I am willing to do whatever it takes in order to get the other person off. I've definitely peed on somebody before. And I have to say, it was really hot because
Yeah.
I could see how much they enjoyed it, and that made me enjoy it that much more. And it's interesting that you say that it's about power because I'm the one that felt powerful in that moment. I didn't feel that I was being overpowered in that experience. So
Both
that's
can
it's all about dynamics and how
Yeah.
it makes you feel.
Both can feel powerful because you would think
Yeah.
that the person pissing on the person kneeling down is the powerful one, but usually it in
Mhm.
all the cases, it's the person that is kneeling down that is initiating the whole experience that
Oh.
ultimately seems like they're the powerless one, but is actually initiating it all, and they're the powerful one in the end. So it's a mind fuck. I love it. I'm here for it.
We'll
Thumbs up for
see.
that. And yeah. So no, really.
No, I love it. I
Yeah.
just learned I'm telling you, I learned so much. So
We
thank
have
you.
time for one more. Those of you who love our thirst trap produced by Straight Up Gay Porn, they didn't have one in time today, but they'll
Sorry,
have one
booze.
next week and we'll resume that. But let's get into one more. I think we have time. Which one did you want to do? The one labeled friendship, Kodi?
We can do that one. Yeah, that one works for
Is
me.
that one? Yeah.
Or do you want to do the ick one?
Oh, let's do the ick one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you read it, Cody? Because it's
What's
can you
giving you
paraphrase it?
the
Don't
ick?
read the whole
I'll
thing because yeah, it's
I
too
will
much.
try.
But
At a
just
dinner
get to the
party.
point of it.
Okay.
I'll do it if you want.
Thank you. Can you please do it?
Yeah, sure. It's
Thank
basically
you.
called an ick factor, and it was what's given you the ick? After a dinner party recently, an acquaintance, a Gen Z love interest boy toy, introduced me to the concept of the ick, which Wikipedia defines as used to describe a feeling of disgust that arises towards a love interest, usually after a specific, often trivial behavior. For what it's worth, Wikipedia also says that it's been popularized by Gen Z on TikTok, but its origins can be traced to the decidedly un-Gen Z Ally McBeal. I've
Oh, that's
never
Gen
heard
X.
about it and couldn't think of it. There's a lot of things that could be ick factor. I wrote a couple of notes and what's given me ick throughout the years. One of mine was when I've talked about it before, when I went on a date with a guy when I was in LA. And for all intents and purposes, he was hot. He took me to the right
Mhm.
sushi restaurant on La Cienega Boulevard. He had
Mm.
a Hummer, though. And I'll never forget the next day after the great sushi experience, we were going to brunch. And on Santa Monica Boulevard, in this Hummer, which was a little bit like, it's almost like those Teslas today, those really like awful looking monsters that are out there right now. This was that
Mhm.
of that period. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in the passenger seat. By the way, sitting across from somebody in one of those Hummers back in the day is like 6 feet across from the driver. It was so weird.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, he was road rage driving, honking at
Whoa.
somebody in front of it and like, motherfucker, and screaming. And I was like, oh, only screaming at somebody, like zooming around. And then he made our way to Santa Monica Boulevard, gonna go to brunch, and he zooms up to a Starbucks and rolls down my window because I'm on the passenger side. It's like, hey girl, screaming out with a line of people out there, I'm mortified. I'm turning blue because I'm like, I can't believe that all of this is like, it was way too, I got the ick factor immediately and knew this isn't going anywhere.
Never
This can
again.
never go anywhere with him. I am totally icked out. Ellie McBeal or Gen Z, whatever you want to call it, ick, ick, ick. And I saw him later on and I was like, hi, nice to see you. But I was like, yeah, ick. How about you?
Wow. Well, I can remember one
And
date
tell it
where
quickly because we only have a minute.
I am. I got this. I got this. So I dating somebody disheveled basically because I went on this date and it was our first date and we went to this restaurant and this guy is cute, he's tall, he was nice, he was smart, and then he raised up his arm in a t-shirt and there was a big hole in there.
Oh,
So I was like, this is too much for me. I cannot date this guy. I date hipsters. So I'm used to slightly smelly guy and a little bit shopping from thrift shops. But if you have a hole in your shirt, that's entirely too much.
Oh my gosh. So we could do this all night long. Follow Kodi on the gram at Mr. Maurice, also on Blue Sky. Follow me on the gram. I am _Stevie. Thanks, everybody. This show gets produced out to wherever you listen to your podcast. In the meantime, continue having hot
Hot
gay
gay
sex.
sex.
Thanks, everyone.